Oh, and the peculiar Swede, and doesn't this house look spooky? It doesn't look very, very spooky, but it looks kind of spooky. And well, this is where we moved after Stadiongatan, and this was out of town. So in a little place called Klagshamn, and yeah, this was a huge upgrade, moving from an apartment, even if it was a big one, to this giant house that had been, I don't know what it is in English, but not a cafe, but excuse me, I'm just gonna handle this little creep. Okay, good. So that was a troublemaker. If you just so you know, if you're not used to this video game, Lego Worlds. So anyway, it had been once been a cafe, not a cafe, but it's one of those places where you don't only sell bread and muffins and pretzels and such things, but they also made them. So, meaning that if you got into this house, there was actually still a giant oven where they once made all those things. So that's not like Freddy Krueger-ish or something anyway. So out of that, yeah, it had been it was a very interesting place. Anyway, now I'm gonna show the inside of it. Also, I lived here from like maybe when I was around 8 or 9 or something, and kind of a weird thing is that when my mom came home after work and she was alone in the house, she often smelled like they had just like baked bread or something in the house, and that's kind of weird since no one had actually been doing that. So she came to the conclusion that it may have been like low-key haunted. I don't remember this house being haunted, but we get to haunted places or possibly haunted places later in this series of videos. Anyway, this is the kitchen table where I actually built the Black Seas Barracuda that I got for I think I got it for my birthday when I was 9 or something. Or yeah, it might have been like that. I remember building it shortly before we moved away from here. Also, let's see. Oh, this, by the way, this was kind of an old house, like maybe built like, say, 1900 or 1800 something, or early, like 1900 early or something. But anyway, it had been very modified, heavily renovated. So it was kind of a very weird house. And this is what we usually had for the living room. And it was kind of funny because when I was a kid, I had this Lego spaceship that was very swooshable. So I was swooshing it around and around, 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 and all of a sudden, because it was those where you could like take off a large section of the ship broke apart. And I get back to that later in the video. So, anyway, my dad attempted to take the bar with him from the place where we lived before. So, here it was set up again, I think, with parts from the old bar. Not sure. So, in here, once, me and my mom found a bat. Yeah, and we had to help it get out of here. And there's my attempt at building a very, very miniaturized Black Falcon's castle. Which I think I had around that time. But anyway, that's not important. Now I go check out where the bathroom is. For, I don't know, some reason. I don't know, nothing important ever happened in here. Except for that weird dream I had. I had a weird dream that I was in the bathroom and I was attacked by like a 1.5 foot big bug that wanted to like try and eat me or something. So I had to constantly fight that freaking bug, and it was like wasn't very afraid of it. It was more like annoying. But that was anyway just a dream, I hope. So anyway, my parents' bedroom. So nice view from there. Also, yes. Oh, and from that view, if it would have been like in real life, there would have been a smaller house, or at least a lower house there on the other side of the street, and that is demolished today. And behind that house, there wouldn't be other houses, there would actually be a small lake. And beyond that lake, there would be trees, almost like a small forest or something. And in that forest, there was a lot of abandoned buildings, and several of those were used in horror movies back in the 80s. So one of them that I actually explored was at the same time when I lived there. It was actually, the interior was actually used as the interior of an abandoned orphanage in a horror movie Sounds of Silence that was made back in 1989. And with, amongst others, Peter Nelson and Troy Donahoe. And also some Swedish actors, amongst them Rico Rönnbäck, who was kind of well known in Sweden back then. And also, that's anyway not very important. It's kind of hard to find that movie Sounds of Silence because it was there are other movies with similar titles and that are more well known, and yeah, it's probably easier to find the other movie that was partly made out here, Scorched Heat. That movie is easier to find, but it's not as well made as Sounds of Silence. Also, this was my room, by the way. My bed. So that is a small little house down there, and then sleeping on top of it, like Snoopy. Anyway, weird thing. Speaking of dogs, one or two dogs got sick and died when we had to be put to sleep when we lived out here. And the weird thing was that I was gonna go check her out in the kitchen in the middle of the night or early morning. So I went this way, all the way down here and to the kitchen. Now, the funny thing is that I went that long way instead of just going down here, like this way, and ta-da, into the kitchen. So I don't know, I don't remember it, but it's almost like if I was for some reason afraid of this area. So I don't know, maybe it was haunted. And anyway, with that out of the way, now I'm gonna check out what we used as the secondary living room, which was the cafe area, or whatever you call it. So that's kind of weird. The entire house was weird. And well, getting back out. And also the house had a basement, but I didn't build the basement because I think I only was down there one time and I don't actually remember what it looked like. So it was also nothing interesting ever happened in there. So I think that's it for this time. And oh yeah, I was gonna show one interesting thing. Let's see. Okay. Here's that spaceship. And it's you can take off this entire section of the back part of it. And that was what just flew off when I was playing around with it in the living room. And today I have found several parts I know was from that model, and I'm trying to rebuild it like it once was. And I'm on a good way to do that. So, until then, until next time, have a good one. Bye.